As an estate planning attorney, I'm in Seattle. One of the first questions that we usually get at my office is, how much does the estate planning cost? How much is it going to cost me? And I understand. I think for a lot of people, the notion of getting their estate planning done immediately just brings about thoughts of dollar signs. Lots and lots of dollar signs. So I have to say, the cost of estate planning is going to depend. And I know that's a very lawyerly answer to give, but that's because not all of my clients' needs are the same. I've been helping clients with their estate planning needs for 14 years now in the greater Seattle area. And I'm Darcel Lobo, by the way. I own DAL Law Firm. And so what I strive to do with my fee structure, whether it's estate planning or real estate practice, any of our practice areas, I really strive to be transparent with my fees. And so this is why I share most of the fees in my firm on my website. I post them there so that when you are looking at my website, reading the information I have on the website, I have a lot of resources, a lot of videos there. You can know also kind of what to expect. Now, a lot of my pricing is going to be the price starts at this amount, or I might provide a range between this and this, because again, each case will be unique. I might have, a married couple with a very simple estate plan. Maybe they have, 2 children, 1 house, the personal belongings, maybe, a few financial accounts. And maybe I have another married couple that owns a few businesses. Maybe they have an investment property. Maybe they have minor children we have to provide for. I need to know more about the facts of your case before I can give you an exact price. But when we have our consultation, I'm able to get enough information that I can tell you, okay, this is what your price will be. So on my website, which is dallawfirm.com, DALLAWFIRM.com, and I'll also link it down below for you. I'll link the exact page where I have all my pricing. I actually pulled it up so I had it in front of me while I was talking to you today. So like for a simple estate plan for an individual person, that starts at $795. But that includes more than just your will. If we're going to do your estate planning, let's get it done correctly. We need to do your financial power of attorney, your healthcare power of attorney, your directives. Let's just get all of that done so you don't have this hanging over your head later. It's more than just the will, even for a simple estate, because these documents serve different purposes. And if you're going to come to my office and hire me and meet with me and go through all the steps to get your will done, we should just do it right. And do your power of attorneys and make sure you have a comprehensive plan in place. So I have those fees on my website. Again, an individual will package, $795 is the starting price. For a married couple, will package, which includes a community property agreement, if that applies to your case, which we'll discuss during the consultation, that is $1395. If you are looking for a revocable living trust, for an individual, that starts at $2,500. For a married couple, that starts at $3,000. But that includes one piece of real property. If you have multiple real properties and you want to have a revocable living trust, which, by the way, I will link the videos I have about why you might want a trust versus a will and the differences, I will list that below. But if you have a trust, for each piece of real estate that you own, we have to prepare a deed for each property to put that deed, that property, into your trust. So we have more work to do, which is why the trust is more expensive if you have more properties. Or maybe you are fortunate enough that we need to do tax planning. Your assets are at the value to where we should start talking about tax planning and integrating that into your estate plan, which is going to cost more money. But I'm going to tell you the amount you're going to save on the estate taxes, which in Washington State, as of the time of this video, which is June of 2023, the exemption amount for an individual in Washington State is $2.193 million. So if your estate as an individual is under that threshold, taxes, estate taxes at least, are not an issue for you. But if you are over that amount, and for a married couple, we can do planning to double that for you to about $4.386 million that we can exempt, meaning we can protect it from estate taxes, at least at the state level. At the federal level, the threshold is much, much higher. So we're not concerned about that if we're looking at $2 million or $4 million. If you are over that or you're approaching that, we're going to talk about tax planning and what we can do to provide tax planning services for you, for your estate, because the amount of taxes you're looking at potentially, again, in Washington State, as of the time that I'm making this video, is between 10 and 20% of your estate that's over that exemption amount. That could be a pretty large tax bill. So when we're looking at the cost of estate planning and doing some tax planning, we have to factor in, what is the benefit? What is the value to your estate? What is the value to your children? What is the value to your legacy and what you're leaving behind? So that's where the pricing of estate planning can become more complex, can become maybe higher than what I have listed as my starting price on the website, but at least it gives you an idea of what numbers you're looking at. And for sometimes, you know, what I found with a lot of law firms is that they don't want to give you a price, and it can be hard to give a price, and I understand that, but I at least want to provide you what the pricing starts at, what the range might be, so you can at least know that when you're reaching out to my firm, kind of what you might be looking at, and so it won't be sticker shock. And also because for some clients, if you are looking for the cheapest option, the cheapest option for your estate plan, which I would highly advise that you maybe reconsider, but that's not going to be my office. I can tell you, right now that I'm not going to be the cheapest estate planning attorney. I'm also not the most expensive. You can go to downtown Seattle and spend double or triple what my fees are. So I think my fees are very reasonable. They come with the past 14 years of doing this work for clients who are just like you. And so for clients who come to my office and want to work with me, they know going into it kind of what they're looking at, what to expect, and it won't be as much of a surprise to them. And then also talking about pricing, if you are considering a do-it-yourself plan, maybe a template online, a form somewhere, you certainly can do so. A lot of those documents are valid in and of themselves. But if you don't complete them correctly, if you don't have someone to help guide you and advise you as to why a plan may or may not be the best option for you, if you don't have someone explaining to you what a transfer on death deed is, which is specific to Washington State, and a lot of these national templates aren't going to provide for that or not going to explain that to you, then you don't know what all your options are. You don't know what all the opportunity is for your estate planning. And estate planning doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be hard. It's really going to depend on what your circumstances are and what you want for the distribution of your assets. And so I'm also going to share a video below that I made before about kind of do-it-yourself estate planning, because it certainly can be done. So I want to make sure that if you do so, that you do so from a place of being informed about that decision. So knowing what the pricing might look like before you even pick up the phone to call our office, before you even email us to make an appointment, you can already know what pricing looks like. And besides posting it on my website, when you contact my office and you make an appointment with my office, we're going to send you a confirmation email for your appointment. And in that confirmation email, I prepared a guide that walks you through the various options, what the packages include, what that pricing looks like, explaining what these documents are, What is a power of attorney? When does it work? How do I use that? How's that different than a will? How's a will different than a trust? We include all this information for you before you've even spoken with me for your consultation. So you come to that consultation with me being so much more informed than you probably were beforehand. So we can have this conversation about what is best for you. What do you want your estate plan to look like? That's what's most important for me, is that I create a plan that reflects your wishes and your intentions, because you worked very hard to acquire your assets and to build your wealth and to, whatever you have acquired through, your working, your investing. I want to make sure we have a plan that works for you and it's going to benefit you and your family. And so that's what we discussed during the consultation. And so with the consultation, with my estate planning, we're doing more than just your will. We're doing more than just your trust. We're evaluating those options. We're going over power of attorneys. We're going over directives. We're making sure that you have a comprehensive plan, because having an estate plan is one of the best gifts you can leave to your family. Regardless of what the assets are, if there's no plan in place, if you haven't outlined what's going to happen and who receives what, and you end up leaving that to the state of Washington to decide. You end up leaving that to a judge who knows nothing about your family dynamics, knows nothing about the relationships in the family and what you may have wanted, what you may have told somebody one time. Let's have a plan in place so you can provide your family with that peace, a well thought out plan that is considerate of all the various factors to consider in your family dynamic and situation, so that all they have to do is follow your instructions instead of trying to make these decisions and figure out what happens, what would, mom and dad or grandma or grandpa or my sister or my brother, what would they have wanted. Let's just have a plan in place for them and take that off of their plate so they don't have to worry about that. So I think it's really important that you have transparent pricing, whatever attorney you use, whoever you hire, whether it's my office, someone else, if you're in Washington State or anywhere else in this country. You want to make sure that you understand what it is you're purchasing from that attorney, what service they're providing to you, what value you're receiving from that estate planning service. So if you need help with your estate planning needs and you're in Washington State, again, I'm only licensed in Washington State, feel free to give my office a call. The number is 206-408-8158. I will make sure to also list our website below where you can reach out and contact me directly, and I'd be happy to work with you and get an estate plan in place for you. All right, thank you so much and have a great day.